As students and future voters, both Kian and I have noticed a link between two hot issues in politics right now: immigration and gun control. However, the immediate effects of this link are not domestic. Rather, the policies, or lack thereof, have an international impact. And these specific policies are influenced by one specific group that has managed to spread its arms into foreign nations without even having to leave the US, the NRA. Throughout the years, the NRA has made it easier to buy guns, own guns, and use guns through laws such as concealed carry, stand your ground, and preemption laws.
Recently, more attention on this topic has been directed to Central American countries. Between 2009 and 2014, 70% of traceable guns that were seized in Mexico were from the US, allotting to a total of 213,000 firearms that were smuggled from the US into Mexico. The impact? An increasing murder rate with 30,000 murders in 2017 alone. The major question should be, how are all these guns getting to Mexico? To make this situation even more interesting, Mexico only has one gun store in the entire country. To find the answer to this problem, we have to start in the US. Within the United States, the NRA has fought to prevent universal background checks and prevent the tracking of guns, citing fear that it will lead to greater restrictions on the right to bear arms. Another essential part of the NRA's success in recent years has to do with the ability to keep straw purchasing laws weak. Straw purchasing laws allow individuals who cannot buy guns in the US to buy them from someone who can legally buy a gun. Thus, drug traffickers buy guns in the US and sell them off to criminal gangs in Central America. This explains certain statistics that have shocked many recently. 29% of guns found in Guatemala were traced back to the US, 46% in Honduras, and 49% in El Salvador. Straw purchasing laws have not only produced such alarming numbers but have contributed to gun violence within these Central American countries, especially with large numbers of guns in the hands of criminal gangs. This is where the issue of gun control connects with the issue of immigration. Many undocumented immigrants flee to the US for better socioeconomic opportunities. Many, however, flee from violence and for safety issues and end up seeking asylum in the US. In brief, the lack of gun control in the US causes violence in other countries, which in turn fuels the migrant crisis.
Recently, the NRA has had significant wins in terms of gun control legislation. In April 2019, President Trump withdrew from the UN Arms Trade Treaty, which in short stated that we would not provide arms to countries such as North Korea, Syria, or Sudan, who could use those weapons for, quote-unquote, crimes against humanity. The NRA has long opposed this treaty in fear that it would lead to further gun control in the US and throughout the world. In addition, the current administration has proposed an arms transfer initiative, which would make it easier for gun companies and sellers in the US to sell and export guns, as well as make it harder to obtain data on gun sales and the tracking of the guns.
For Zafir and I, we find it interesting how oftentimes those who are pro-gun tend to be anti-immigration. We feel that it should be essential for us to dive deeper into these issues and look for possible links. Thus, we ask before we vote or even take a definite stance on a hot issue, we put in the effort to educate ourselves on the causes and impact of the issues we may support or oppose.